Time for our updated NFL power rankings, and we can do it today because we all know that the Saints and Seahawks aren't getting in the top 5. So let's get it going with the Green Bay Packers at number 5 on my rankings list. Red zone defense finally showed up yesterday, and despite being injured on the offensive line, able to handle Washington 24-10 Sunday. Rodgers, great when it mattered, and this guy's just been a man on a mission since week 1. Love him or hate him, slaying lesser opponents with precision, and I think the trend continues. Number 4 on our list, the ye old Dallas Cowboys. Yes, I know they were on a bye week, so you're like, oh, do they really? Yes, Dak Prescott playing like an MVP candidate. He should be getting healthier, ideally, this week with the bye. Their versatile offensive attack has unlimited scoring potential. Defense has shocked most of us this season. I feel like this is a team that week after week gets more and more looking like a Super Bowl contender, and this is why we play the game, folks, because I did not think that preseason. 3 on our list, the 6-1 Los Angeles Rams. I know it was ugly against the Lions, but they're also 4-3 against the spread. Super Bowl odds sitting there at plus 800. But that game against the Lions meant a lot to a lot of people. Rams have been outstanding on offense. Stafford playing inspired, best football of his career, and throw into an Offensive Player of the Year candidate. And Cooper Kupp doesn't make you look bad. Defense has shown improvement the past few weeks. Rams are 3rd on the list because the Bucs are just the more complete team to me. Moving on to number 2. Tampa Bay, their Super Bowl odds sitting at plus 550, a team that looks like they could just roll the rest of the year. And what's funny is it was a ho-hum day for the defending champs yesterday. Effectively just dismantled the Bears. We already mentioned Tom's record, but he's always an X factor. Their O-line looks good. He's got good weapons. Still need to get a little bit healthier in the secondary, but if they do that, I think they could be up there as the deepest team in the NFL. Lenient schedule. If they didn't contend for the top seed in the NFC West this season, it would be crazy to me. Number 1 on our list, though, and how could it not be, the Arizona Cardinals, 7-0, and as the great poet J.J. Watt once eloquently put it, how about instead of making excuses for why they win, maybe they're just sleeping better, okay? Watt and DeAndre Hopkins helped stun their former team yesterday, 31-5. The hits Kyler Murray takes is a little bit worrisome to me. This is why I'm never putting money on him for MVP, but this is the best team in the league right now. Zach Ertz, immediate impact, lots of fun to watch. I know what you're thinking. Stormy Buonantony, where are the Bills, the Titans, the Bengals, oh my, the Chargers, the Ravens? Not today, people. Not today. What is today? Mondays with Michael. Time to welcome in former NFL executive, host of the Lombardi Line here on VSiN, Michael Lombardi. Thanks for doing this, Michael. Like, love, or hate my list. What do you got for me?
You know, I thought your list is good. I mean, I think you got to have Buffalo in the top 5. I mean, the way they've dominated people, and, you know, they're just a slip of a cleat away from beating the Titans. So to me, that would be the only argument I would have. I mean, Green Bay's a funny team. I mean, they played well enough to win and cover, which they've done. And yet there were so many opportunities for the Washington football team to actually win the game, you know, but they couldn't take advantage of it. And that's typically Washington. If you bet with Washington, you're betting at your own, you're basically betting at your own discretion because they will find a way to mess it up. Yeah,
Washington has killed many, it seems, this season. But, I mean, since you did mention the Packers, though, what are your thoughts? I don't know if you saw the news today, but their defensive coordinator with COVID and now Devontae Adams, we hear, is in the COVID-19 protocol as well. I feel like those are big absences for this week's game for Thursday Night Football.
Well, certainly, Parker, that screwed the line tremendously. I mean, we saw the line just go crazy once he declared that he went on the COVID list. I mean, this was a 3.5-point line all day, and it jumped up to 6. So that tells you, I mean, because when you break down this Green Bay team, you realize that, you know, they're living on the edge. I mean, they're truly John Bon Jovi. They're living on a prayer here. I mean, they've got great quarterback and they've got Adams, and then you just wonder what else could happen. And they've been able to skirt around some games. They've won and they deserve to win. But, you know, I think this is a team they're going to play this week that I don't think Vance Joseph has gotten enough credit. His defense is playing at a high level. I don't know why, Stormy, they played their starters into the fourth quarter. The game was out of control. You know, I was counting on them to, I said on my show, I thought that taking the Texans and the 18.5 might be a good play because in the fourth quarter, you might get 2 scores to kind of cover the spread, backdoor cover. But they played their guys. They played their guys all the way through, and they scored 14 points in the second half, which ultimately gave the cover to the people that bet Arizona.
Well, you know, Michael, another team that's, whoa, living on a prayer is another team that has been left off of my list here. The Kansas City Chiefs, who have just been nowhere
They
near.
don't deserve to be on your list.
Right? How bad
Bad?
have they been? Like, what is wrong with this team? And also, sidebar, do you think Patrick Mahomes is part of the problem now?
Well, I mean, he's gotten hit way too much, Stormy. If you watch the tape, I just finished it against the Titans. The Titans beat the hell out of him. I mean, they literally hit him almost on every play. The offensive line, they put Mike Remmers in at right tackle to replace the kid that they had starting at the beginning of the season. I mean, Orlando Brown, they ran by Orlando Brown about 4 or 5 times, and they hit the quarterback, and they caused sacks. They've turned the ball over too much. People seem to know how to play them. They rally to the ball, they tackle, and they're having a hard time protecting and holding the football to get the ball down the field. And it's going to take a little bit of ingenuity by Andy Reid. I think it's going to take some creativity. He's been in one formation now for 3 years, and he's been dominating in that formation, 11 personnel, 1 back, 1 tight end. But I think people have caught up to it. And I think he's going to have to mix and match some personnel groups to not just rely on that, because people are used to playing that. And every week, when you go to play them, their patterns that they want to run against. That there's only so much you can do against the way they're playing cover 2, the way they're matching the passes. I think they got to change it up a little bit.
Well, and despite all of their issues, the bookmakers still have them at 3rd shortest odds to win the AFC at plus 650. But I don't even know if I think they make the playoffs at this point. Do you think they will?
Well, they're 11th now. I mean, their defense played well enough to stop the run. I mean, they got a couple tough calls in the game, but, they can't stop anybody when they have to on defense. And, Tennessee was able to shut them out with 3 points. I don't know if they can do it. The way the Raiders played yesterday was pretty impressive. They destroyed the Raiders. I mean, they controlled the middle 8. They scored in the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the second half. I mean, the Raiders dominated the game. They scored 17 points, and that's the game. I mean, they go into halftime. The kid Gainwell fumbles. They get a touchdown right before he fumbles. Comes out, he fumbles. That's 10 points. They start the second half with the onside kick that the Eagles don't get, and the 17 game over.
And good for the Raiders, 2 straight wins now with interim head coach Rich Bisaccia after dealing with all of the issues with John Gruden stepping aside. Sticking with the AFC, Lamar Jackson, first career loss to the Bengals, was 5-0 before yesterday. Cincinnati gets a statement win. Are they maybe the best team in the AFC North? Are they? Could they be?
Well, they looked like it yesterday. I mean, they made a big plays. I mean, Jamar Chase was sensational. He catches a slant, breaks 2 tackles, takes it 82 yards to the house. I mean, really kind of remarkable. Jump ball down the field, makes the play. I mean, they made big plays. The Ravens didn't cover anybody. Going to be an interesting game the next time they play. I'll just say this. The next time they play, I'm going to take the Ravens in the points. Ooh. Because I don't think they're going to I don't think they're going to do what they did in that game. They blew a lot of coverages in the game. They made a lot of mental mistakes, and I think that would change.
Ravens still favorites to win the AFC North. Bengals not too far behind at plus money, plus 250 if you think that they could get over the hump. Would love to talk a little Monday Night Football with you. Big game coming up today. Seahawks and Saints going up against each other. Seahawks getting 4 at home. Geno Smith, the guy that'll be running that offense. It obviously looks a little bit different than when you have a guy like Russell Wilson who can do whatever he wants at will. What's just your thoughts on tonight's game?
Well, I mean, this is a game 2 quarterbacks that typically have turned the ball over, right? And that's and so tonight, I don't know if there's ever been a time where Seattle has been getting 4 points at home. Now it's up to 5. The line moved all the way back up to 5. It opened at 3.5. It went to 5. It came back down to 4. Now it's up to 5. A lot of money coming late in on the Saints and moving that number. So how often do you get the Saints at home with 5 points? I mean, the Seahawks at home with 5 points. Mm-hmm. But I think this with the weather, the rain coming sideways, the Saints got some reinforcements coming back. Certainly, I think that when you look at their defensive front, they're going to have Kawhi Alexander back. They're going to be able to get some players back on the team. Taquan Smith, the wide receiver, is going to come back tonight. I lean towards the Saints off of the bye week. I think they're the one team that can play not mistake-free if they can keep Winston from turning the ball over.
I was glad you mentioned the weather. I was wondering if Patrick Maher stuck his finger up and tested the wind, if he could give us any insight onto how that would play out.
I'm sure Patrick is monitoring at home with Jeezy. There's no doubt he's got it all handled. I don't think there's any doubt. He'll be more than happy to share it with you.
Awesome stuff. Thanks again, Michael. Appreciate the time. You're the best.
Thanks, Stormy. Bye-bye.
Another Monday with Michael in the books. What a blast. He's awesome. When we come back, everybody, we're going to say goodbye to the team's hopes and dreams for this season. But as one door closes, another one opens. Can't wait to talk to Steve Buchanan as well, NFL and MLB analyst for DraftKings. A lot to cover, but not a lot of time left. We got this.